like, oh shit, we already started. It's gonna get started. My daughter came in here. We can start right now. But yeah, I've been doing it since 2008. I interviewed probably over 1,000 people so far. I like it though. Just meet a lot of different people and show hip hop. All right. Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for self-help meets hip hop. Right now we're live on YouTube. Check me out on Twitch, Apple Music, and Spotify. 1-2-1-2. I'm a place to be with DJ Criminal. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So I was I read your story. So the first question I want to ask you: were you always DJ Criminal, or did you like after you did all the smuggling and stuff, then you changed your name DJ Criminal? That's the main thing I want to know at first.
Yeah. So there was like a very, very, very short, brief amount of time, maybe in like, I want to say, like when I first started out back in like the late 90s, I had a different name. And then when I kind of transitioned into just doing like straight up hip hop, funk and soul, I used a different name for like maybe like 6 months. And then when I had my first actual physical release on a label, right when it got time to like pressing up the actual CD, this probably would have been about 2003, 2004. The cover of this album had a photograph that this West Coast photographer did. It just had a guy in a hoodie, and then he put like some effects over it, and then the hoodie just said "criminal," and I was like, "Oh, that would make a really fly mixtape cover. Let's use that." And then I was like, "I don't like this last name," and we just used "criminal" based off this photo. But like I don't like run around and like rob people or anything. Like I'm a very chilled out, lackadaisical dude, So the name I've always kind of been like, hey, like maybe I probably shouldn't have picked that because like I'm not going around doing nefarious shit all the time. But
like, what you do? What's your crime or choice?
Yeah, my crime of choice is like sleeping.
But you could like flip it. You could be like, I'm jacking for beats out here, so that's why I'm DJ Criminal or something like that.
I don't really like clear samples, so.
All right. So you was talking about when you first started. So just take us back to the beginning. Let us know your hometown and your background in music.
Yeah. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the South Hills. I grew up playing a lot of instruments and stuff. I was never into sports, so I grew up playing guitar, drums, and the didgeridoo, and just was always attracted to music. I always loved music. I'd rather go home and like put the distortion on the amp and play some guitar than go out and play football or whatever. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, and at a really early age, probably in my like mid-teens, like my some friends of mine who were a little bit older, we all started throwing raves in Pittsburgh. And so like at 15, we were flying in DJs from Europe and putting in these all-night events on. And that's kind of how I first started being exposed to the DJ world. And then it just grew from there. I just, loved throwing parties and playing music, making people dance. And yeah, just the idea of getting together like, 500 people in a warehouse and blasting music on a great sound system and, just everyone grooving out and having a good time. I really enjoyed that. And then at the later years of my high school days, that's when I really got into hip hop. And then I moved to Florida and went to school there for sound engineering. And that's when I started to kind of really focus on scratching and hip hop. And then I moved to Minnesota for about 4 years. And that's when it like really took off for me with like just compiling, getting that record collection in. And those were probably my like largest days of digging. Just finding the record stores, getting the stuff no one else had. I mean, I guess I kind of did that in Pittsburgh too. Like if there was a new single coming out, we'd go to the record stores and, all our friends would want the same single. So we'd have to tell the record store owners, we'd be like, make a note on this order, like must ID before purchase, just so our friends couldn't go in and jack the record we wanted and stuff. And that's kind of what led me up until about 2004. And I just got kind of sick of the cold and where I was living in Minnesota. I knew some friends that had lived in Thailand and they said it was great. And there's no winter over here. I mean, it's hot as hell, which isn't always great, but there's no snow. I hate snow. So
man, you did all that. You could have just came to California.
Yeah. I hear the state taxes there are pretty fierce.
It's pretty. It's good. It's pretty good over here. Yeah.
But so no, that kind of brings.
I was going to ask you too. I was going to ask you. So, you saying when you got into hip hop? So, what got you into it though?
So the first hip hop I remember hearing was in the early '90s, and it was Beastie Boys' Paul's Boutique. And I remember I really liked the samples on there, and I remember the song Eggman, really like that one. And there was a line on there, we all dressed in black, we step up around the back. And it was just something I could really groove to. And then like I grew up in the South Hills of Pittsburgh, so it was kind of like suburby. It was like the suburbs, I would say. There wasn't like sidewalks and shit, but I mean, I would kind of classify it as the suburbs, I guess. Like my backyard was Pittsburgh, but so like I never really identified too well with the gangster rap shit. Like I didn't get into that until I was a bit older. And then the first hip hop show I ever went to was a Jurassic 5 show, probably in the late 90s or early 2000s in Pittsburgh. And just after watching that show, those guys just put on a hell of a performance. And that's when I was just like, full force, like going deep diving into all of hip hop and rap from the early 80s upwards. And that's kind of what really got me in there.
Yeah. And then so you say you started in Pittsburgh, but like you said, you kind of been around the world. So I know you say you're in Thailand right now, but just talk about all the places you kind of traveled.
Oh, I've been to like like 42 countries now, maybe close to 50.
Is that a goal of yours, or it just happened?
No, it just kind of happened. I love traveling and I like writing about traveling. Like I do like I would never call myself a journalist, but I do a lot of travel writing for like magazines and wrote a book that got published a couple of years ago about traveling in the Middle East. And so I left Minnesota, went to Thailand, Cambodia, lived in Tokyo for 2 years, and lived in Saudi Arabia for a couple of years, lived in Afghanistan for 4 years. Been in Thailand since 2007. And then I've been to just everywhere. Like did shows in Vietnam, Egypt, Cairo, Myanmar, Laos, Palestine, Israel,
I got
Jordan.
So how do you I don't know if you heard about Brittany. Are you aware of like all the stuff going on in America, or you kind of like not really?
Like no.
Okay. So,
like not at all.
It's like the WNBA, right? The WNBA is the women's basketball. Yeah. So they have this girl, she's like the star, her name's Brittany Griner, and she brought weed to Russia. So, they got the war going on and everything right now. So they scooped her up and they basically have her like a political prisoner. They have her like just stand there, and they gave her 6 years and she's there. And they're like, oh, if it was LeBron James, she wouldn't have that much time. But I would say, so how do you avoid, like, I guess, how do you know all the crime, like, what to do, what not to do in these different countries?
I mean, I don't smoke weed, so that kind of gives me an easy pass. Like, I'm never bringing any drugs with me. Like, I'm not a drug user.
But even like the other laws they might have, kind of know some countries they got like, different laws.
Yeah, so like you just kind of like hear through the travelers community, other travelers and other expats. So like even some over-the-counter stuff that you can get in America and some of the Middle Eastern countries, that shit's like illegal and can put you in jail. So like you can just do research online and just kind of, just do your homework before you're going places. But like people that bring weed on international flights, I just shake my head. I'm like, do you really need to get high? Like, and if you do, like you can find it anywhere you go.
Yeah, that's right. That was my whole thing. I was like, man, it ain't that bad when you got to take the weed on you on an international flight. You can wait till you touch down and get it like that. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I just
actually heard she's an all-star basketball player, so she can find somebody out there. It's somebody on that damn basketball team she on in Russia that can get her.
And it's like, I mean, maybe the poor woman has like some anxiety problems or whatever, and she needs it for, like health reasons, medicinal reasons. She's not just like doing bong rips before she goes to practice. So I can understand if she needs to bring some of that as a medicinal purpose. But yeah, I mean, you're just going into a foreign country. Like when you cross the border from Myanmar into Thailand, there's a big sign that says death sentence for all traffickers. Ooh. And up until recently, marijuana and everything up above was, if you got caught with it, you were in you were in a bad situation. Like you'd be looking at like 20 to 80 years to life, depending on what you had and how much you had. And just like about a month ago, Thailand made weed recreational. It's been medicinal over here for a while. So now when you roll around town in Bangkok or in Chiang Mai, where I live, you just smell weed like everywhere and everyone's smoking. And it just, all the guys like me that have been over here for such a long time, it just blows our mind that this shit's actually legal now and happening.
Yeah, it's legal in a lot of states in America too now.
Yeah. I was back in the States in the fall, and I've like touched down just to do some visa work or go back and visit families on the East Coast and the West Coast. And when my friends are driving me around and I just see all these dispensaries, it just like blows my mind because all that shit happened and came about when I was overseas. And none of the countries except Thailand now that I frequent have like, medicinal stuff or recreational stuff. So it's just like, pretty mind blowing to see it all.
What kind of get me upset about it though, because it's like shit, they got like stocks, you can buy weed stocks and all that shit now, but you got all these people that's still in jail over that shit. So like, what about these people in jail over weed? Y'all, I mean, they got stocks. You can just, what company sell, stocks for weed? Go buy them fucking stocks, but all these people in jail still. So it's like, that shit crazy.
Yeah, I've wondered about that myself, like, all right, what happened to poor like Kevin or Jawar or Jamal or Ajmal that got busted with, a couple ounces or a couple pounds like years ago, and they, got racked up with like a 10-year fucking stretch. Like, can we somehow, how long is that process gonna take, or is it even gonna take off? Like now that you could legally fly from like this state to that state with that same amount of marijuana on you, are we going to start reversing some of these penalties and injustices that were put upon these people? I don't even know if anyone's doing anything like that, but I hope that it's happening, like, reverse sentences and get some of those people out that don't need to be in there.
Yeah,
all these non-violent offenders that are just,
it's like
making someone rich.
Then I look at it like, man, like what about then you got the pharmaceutical company, they can sell the drugs that have all the side effects that the weed got, but they want you to take the drugs. The weed's illegal, so it's like, man, they playing it. So I'll glad
pharmaceutical companies are the biggest drug dealers on earth.
Mm-hmm. But then we was kind of talking about you was talking about trafficking and everything. So I kind of wanted to go into your album, the Smugglers Candle LP. So I read the story. I saw that's crazy. I was like, you got a crime journalist on your album. But so he says it's not just music to smuggle to, it's music that's been smuggled. But I don't know what he mean. I'm trying to figure out what he mean, like smuggle to, like I gotta hold it like this.
So like I live like really close to the Golden Triangle, which is like historically one of the biggest smuggling routes in the history of smuggling. And just living in Afghanistan and shady places and seeing crazy shit go on, I just thought it was a cool concept to make an album about smuggling. And this crime journalist, Sean Williams, he's amazing. He's got a podcast called The Underworld Podcast. Everyone should check it out. I was listening to that podcast for about a year, and I was like, what would be really cool? Because these dudes are nuts, man. They'll like dress up as missionaries and sneak into crazy like meth production labs in the northern jungles of Myanmar, trying to get like interviews and documentaries about that shit. They're gnarly, man. And I was like, it would be cool to have him to do a prologue. And the first goal was the audience or listener to understand that there's a big difference between smuggling and trafficking. Trafficking is always going to have a negative connotation, but smuggling, you could be smuggling weed, or you could be smuggling refugees or medicine. Like Han Solo was a smuggler. Schindler's from Schindler's List, he was a smuggler. He smuggled Jews out of, the concentration camps, get them out of there. And the second goal was to reference the smuggling I did, and I would call this like light smuggling, but when I was in Afghanistan, I was bringing a lot of my music back home to Thailand, and the customs agents and the airlines would always like look at how many records I'd have, and then they would try to like force me to check the records and make me pay all this money. And when I would land in Thailand, I'd get to the custom agents, and they would try to like, fine me import tax on every record I was bringing in. And I was bringing in over like 100 records at a time. So I went to this tailor in Kabul, and I got this big ass vest made that went all the way down to the middle of my shins. And I had the tailor on the inside of the vest make pockets that would fit 7-inch records. So I could put like 25 in a pocket up by my chest, 25 in another pocket down by my knee. And that was on each side. So I could carry on the airplane like 100 7-inch records.
But how much did they weigh?
Oh, I don't know, because they never weighed it. That was the whole point.
Was it heavy for you?
Yeah, it was heavy. Once I made it on the plane, I'd fold it up and take it off and put it up top. But then whenever I would land wherever I was going, I'd take it out, put it back on, and wear it. And I just kind of looked like, a fat man when I would be walking through customs. But I'd always get the records through, no problem. So I, technically, like the word smuggle comes from this old Germanic word where it just basically means to bypass shitty taxes that countries are imposing on you. And it originally was like, trading rice and shit in Europe, like rice and beans and herbs and stuff. And they would go from port to port, and they try to avoid the other countries' taxes they were importing the shit to. And that's where smuggling came from. So I just got sick of paying the airline fees and these corrupt custom agents, because they'd see like one record and they would be like, oh, we're going to say that this is $25 and you have 100 of them. So that's this much. And we're going to make you pay like 30%, just corrupt custom officials all over. And I just got sick of paying that shit. So I got that vest made, and that's how I would just get my record.
Why would they charge that much money for you just bringing in music?
Just to, get some tea money out of it, and they do that to all the people. They do that, not just for records, but if they see like, oh man, like when I first brought turntables into Southeast Asia, they wanted like $2,000 for me to just bring it into the country. They're
I guess because they know you finna make some money, I guess, so they want their money. They look at that.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, you're gonna go in and sell these, and it's like, no, I'm not. But that's their excuse to try to, get their money out of you. So you gotta, throughout the years, like all the DJs I know over here, and just people that buy cameras or like drones and shit. Everyone has to figure out a way to try to bypass this.
But I guess like, so I'm looking at it like, well, how you talking, but then at the same time, man, like just even here, like they usually got taxes for even like here. If you want to get a drone and you want to have a business, you got to go to school, get a license. They tax you for everything. So it's kind of like, they do the same thing here. Everything you want to do, you gotta get a license or you get taxed on it, everything. It ain't nothing really you could just go do for free.
Yeah, America is a very expensive place.
Yeah, cause I was like, damn, I went in for insurance one day and this girl was sitting there with a drone, but I'm studying for the drone, taking a test.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, what the fuck? I was like, you gotta go to school for that? You gotta go to school to use a drone and get a license for it?
Yeah, I can't rock with the States too much. It's just so expensive there. I was back there last fall in 2021 and January 2022. And
man, I got a couple of questions. So I hope I want to ask you about, but first I want to talk to you about the what you were saying, because you was like, I ain't no journalist. And then I was like, yes, you are. But then like I was thinking I ain't no journalist either, because like how you said that guy they dressed up like missionaries and go to the meth labs and the jungle and all that shit. I was like, I ain't doing all that, and I'm not doing no war journalism. So them like, to me, them like the ones that actually go into the where is that? Them like the real last journalists, because they put their life on the line. Like the ones that they go to the fucking crime mob right in the crime house. I was interviewing them.
Yeah, it's just
right here.
It's just kind of like a hobby for me. When I was living in Saudi Arabia, like my mom called me or emailed me and she was like, the Pittsburgh Post Gazette or the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, they're looking for expats that are living abroad that can like create articles about what foreigners in certain countries think about Americans. And I was just like, all right, like, it looks like something to do. So I wrote up like one article and sent it in. And they were like, can you get us pictures? And I was like, yeah. And then they paid me for it. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay.
Keep writing.
All right. You guys want some more? And they're like, yeah. And I'd been to so many countries. So I just started like busting out interviews and stories about all these places I had been to. And I had pictures. So they published them all and paid me. And I was like, all right, this is cool. I got some beer money for the weekend and stuff. And then I was living in northern Afghanistan for a little bit up near the Himalayas, this place called Mazar Sharif. And I always wanted to get a book published. You know, I'm not like obsessed with like being a writer or anything. That's why I say I wouldn't call myself a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this publishing company out of Singapore and the UK were like, yeah, we want to publish the book, and they did, and they published the book, and they're asking for a couple more, and yeah, I'll write one once I get this album out of the way. Next year, maybe I'll start writing another one. But yeah, like I think it would be an insult to a real ass journalist to call myself a journalist. Like, you know, I just kind of do it as like a side hobby. Whenever I have time and I want to write stuff, I'll go and do that.
Then I want to ask you, so you was talking about it's expensive in America. I will ask you, so how much does it cost? Like, give us a monthly, how much it costs to live where you're at right now?
Oh, I mean, it kind of depends on your lifestyle. Like, do you want to live in a condominium that's got a pool and a sauna, or do you want to kind of live, you know, in the lower economic areas of the country? But
you want to be like the middle class.
yeah, so like example, like I'm sure in Cali, do you guys have that place called Jamba Juice?
Yeah.
So like how much would you say if you go in there and get like 2 smoothies, how much would that be?
Shit, it'll probably be like $20, tell you the truth.
Holy shit. So like
out here, 15 at least for sure.
So like I go to this one organic juice spot every day. That's my lunch. So like yesterday I went like full on. I got 2 shots of wheatgrass. I got 2 shots of ginger. I got 2 shots of Brussels sprouts. And then I got 2 shots of turmeric and ginger. And then I got I think it was a 75-gram protein banana choco shake. And then I got a detox juice, and all of that was $8
for both of them.
For all of it, so it was like
2 of them.
Yeah, so it was like one big ass thing of juice that had a bunch of stuff in it, one protein shake, and then like 6 or 8. What was it? 2, 4? Yeah, 8. Like, you know, ginger shots that you would take.
That should probably be like out here. That should probably be about $30-$40. All them shots.
Yeah. So I mean,
like saying normal, like you get a normal one, it should be about $8 for the normal one out here. But if you getting all the extra shit, it's gonna be about $20 a cup.
Yeah. So it's super cheap. Like there's people out here, expats, you know, Westerners, and they'll live off of $600 a month.
What's that?
But they're living in like a small little box with a fan. They're only eating street food. But like roughly, like for Westerners, their salary runs, if they're working over here, from like maybe anywhere from like 800 to 1,600 a month. And they're living pretty fly, you know, they're living in a nice place, security guard, pool.
What's the XPath? What you said? You said XPath? What's
expats, expatriates. It just means like a foreigner living in another country.
Expatriates, that's what they call it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying too, man. I know a lot of vets, like, especially if they get like, you know, their disability pay from the military, shit, they go out there, man, they're gonna be chilling.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. A lot of vets out there, right? Probably be some people out there that's veterans retired and shit.
Yeah, there's vets, and like the city I live in, Chiang Mai, every year it's always in the top 10 of cities to retire in. So there's mad retirees out here just because it's so cheap. Like if you go like a little far out of the city, you can get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a kitchen and a, you know, gated community for under $300 a month.
Damn.
Yeah.
You be seeing a lot of black people out there?
Yeah, there are a little bit. Not too much. In Bangkok, yeah. Down south, yeah. In my city, A little bit, but not too much.
That's tight though. That's cool, man. So
Yeah.
so how long did it take you to make the album?
I never really rush when I'm doing albums. I would say the only one I really was like, all right, let's get these beats finished real quick was the last EP I did with Illogic out of Ohio. This album, the first song I made on it was probably back in 2017. And then I really started smashing out the songs once I was in Afghanistan, my last 2 years there. And then the last year I was here in Chiang Mai just to get it, get enough songs in order that I thought would be enough for the album. So I mean, I guess you could say 5 years, but the majority of the effort put in was in the last two.
So I was gonna go into one of the. I saw a video. I was on your YouTube page. Well, hold on. We're gonna go to your YouTube page right now. Oh, I know what I want to ask you about too, man. I like all your shorts on here.
Oh yeah.
Your YouTube shorts, those tight.
Nice, thank you.
Let me go to some of them. I'm gonna play some of them real quick. All right, I'm on here right now. You can see my screen. All right, let me go to some of these shorts first so that people see these shorts. I think people should, that shit cool. I was like, damn, I see you. This shit hard. So they got this shit tight right there.
Where's my money?
That real that's not a green screen, right?
No. That's definitely not a green screen.
People might think it's a green screen. You gotta let them know, like, this shit real. This ain't no green screen, y'all.
Yeah, that one was crazy because have you seen the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where they did the last scene from the movie. It's this place called Petra in Jordan in the Middle East. And I was like, all right, I was sponsored under Raiden. They do these portable scratch faders. And I just started going to crazy places and making videos of me scratching with their stuff. And then they started sending me gear and they were like, yeah, the crazier the spots, like the better this relationship will work out. And I was like, word. And my friends and I were going to Jordan on vacay. And that one area of Petra, it's called the Treasury. And you can go down on the bottom floor and they light it up and it looks dank. And there was like a lot of people around on the ground floor. So I didn't want to like bother them on their trip. And I had seen photos of people looking down on this area, right? And so I went up to one of the tour guides and I was like, can you take me up to this like bird's eye view spot? He's like, yeah, but we got to go on horseback and it's kind of a gnarly ride. I was like, well, all right, let's do it. Like how much? And he's like $50. I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. So we got on horseback. I had my gear in my backpack. We went up on these crazy mountains through all these Bedouin towns and shit. And, halfway there, I got off the horse because there was like, very high hill slides going down. I was not trying to die on a horse to make a scrap. But, it took about an hour and 20 minutes and we finally got to the location. And so like the sample that's used in that particular beat is from the Indiana Jones movie. And I was like, oh, this will be great. I have the like actual last location on set. that the camera's looking in the backdrop. And I just searched on YouTube for like Indiana Jones remix songs, and then found that one. I was like, all right, fine. Like, yeah. And then just like did the scratch routine. That one actually got, when Raiden posted that video, it got like 46,000 views in the first week. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what video did you want to play, like far as with the music?
So the latest two videos I got, the first one was It's Easy with Barfly. That was filmed in Nepal, Kathmandu. And then the second one was Mountaintops, which Blueprint directed, and I got Blueprint, Slug, and Jennifer Charles on that one.
So which one you want us to play?
Up to you, man. I'll let you decide.
All right. Me, my mo. I'm gonna play the shortest one. This one's shorter. I'll play it's for the newest one. Yeah, it's new.
Yeah, that's the latest one that's dropped.
His last words were, I guess I'll see you at the top. The tone was indifferent, but you could tell he never stopped until he got it back. Every second that he lost, he'd spent his time much wiser since he knew the cost. Hangers on, pretending that they held him down, but the higher he climbed, the more they held him down. While he held on, his hangers on nowhere around, but all reappeared once the dust had settled down. He wasn't scared of heights, but fame and fortune terrified him, and the uncertainty of what was over the horizon. Some people saw the peak and idolized it. He saw the man in the mirror and sabotaged him. Now he's trying to get a grip as if it's life or death. Changed his whole approach and got the wind behind his steps, thinking even if he's over the hill, he'd rather die on a mountain than rest on a molehill.
Change lanes, switch perspective. Everybody got free will like me to get a reflective. For all you know, I'm standing still while trying not to lose my cool. You know that I suffer fools.
There ain't no up or down, it's just circles and lines. I point my face towards the clouds and I search for some shine. If the world was mine, I still do this like I'm trying to prove to it I was worth your time. I'm thoroughly confined within your box. Please accept my gratitude, I live inside your thoughts. Provided me bed, bath, and food and filled my cup with juice. Leveled up my latitude, gave me an excuse to tag my name all up your avenue. She said success I never taste as good as when they first seen you represent your neighborhood. Before the freaking out and thinking about the way it could have been, trying to find any surface to leave fingerprints or some footprints. I didn't come to squish my toes in the sand. Where I come from, those get frozen, noses broken. Someday all of this will turn into ocean. From the top of the mountain with my reflection in the water's motion.
Change lanes, switch your perspective. Everybody got free will like me, get all reflective. For all you know, I'm standing still, trying not to lose my cool. You know that I don't suffer fools. And if you reach the mountain peak,
That was probably the part they needed to see. Oh shit, let me put that back on so they can see that part. Yeah, I said that video's got let me play that part so they can see it. See the album part. Oh, hey. So it's dropping in 2 days.
Yeah, it's gonna drop on the 26th
If I could be
digitally.
close to it all, I know.
Yeah.
People can get it off my Bandcamp for free. It'll be on all the streaming platforms, and there's a small label out of Seattle called Tape Joke, and they're gonna be doing a drop of some physical products next month, early October. The physical products are gonna be cassettes, hoodies, and then a couple other surprises I can't talk about. A short limited run, but yeah, so there'll be physical product out there come early October. There's a website called Smugglers Candle that's got a countdown right now. So if the peeps are interested in getting some physical product, they can get it from there. But the album's free. I wanted to make sure that the people can get the music for free. Yeah.
Why you want to put it out for free?
I get really just to get more people to listen to it. I'm not tripping on, I've never really been like, all right, I need to make money from music. Maybe in the next couple releases, I might put a price tag on there, but just trying to build more of a fan base. And I think, if the music's free, you're going to attract more people to listen to it. They're more likely to download it. And yeah, I don't know. I've just never been I want to actually sell this. The physical products, the bundles that are coming out, they're pre-orders that, that's going to cost some money. But as far as digitally putting it out, I just wanted it out there free so I can get as many listeners as possible.
Yeah, I said that video was sad at first. At first, it looked like he was about to stop rapping, but then I see he started back at the end, so it's cool. But it was sad at the beginning. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's a sad sample, and the concept for that song had a really dark concept at the end. Because I'd spent time in Nepal, and I really love mountains and stuff. And when I approached Blueprint and Slug about the concept for the song, there's this unfortunate scenario that happened on Everest, where this young dude who wasn't an experienced climber and got the cheapest Sherpas to take him up the mountain. When he got to, I don't even know if he made it to base camp 3, but the dude passed out and was dying, right? And there's people going up and down the mountain passing him.
You go to the bathroom.
But no one could stop, because if they stopped to help him, take him down or up, they'd be risking their lives. They don't got enough oxygen to carry, a 180-pound dude with them. Nor do the Sherpas. You're taking the max amount of weight that you can already. You're already in death zone elevation. So the original idea I approached them with, I was like, there was a big controversy in the mountaineering community, I guess you could call it, about should people have stopped and tried to help this dude or not. And I kind of wanted them to be take one view of each side. Yes, they should have. No, they shouldn't have. And somehow make a rap song out of that. And so that kind of morphed into what the song became, which was just kind of overcoming obstacles.
Yeah. So what happened to that song?
I mean, it just kind of turned into mountaintops. The main idea just kind of, transformed along the way to, we can take that kind of idea and just do a slight different version of it, I come up with weird ideas for songs that, some of the weird shit I see over here. And yeah, sometimes the idea just flies and sometimes it morphs into something different, which can turn out to be quite better a lot of the times. But like, for instance, there was this one song idea I had, and it was about sweatshops. And I was doing this gig in Bangkok where I was working for this, like, what was it called? Forget the company's name. It was like a day job I had for a while. And we would basically do like mock interviews with Thai people that were trying to get jobs overseas. And we would have like debate classes with them. And one of the debates was on the topic of sweatshops. And one of the girls, they don't call them sweatshops over here. They call them garment factories. And one of the ladies that was in this group discussion panel, her family owned sweatshops up in northern Thailand. And the whole debate was about, like, are these ethical means of business? And, most of the people in this conversation were like, yeah, this isn't good for people. It's bad working conditions. They're being underpaid. They're being abused. And then this one girl whose family owned sweatshops, garment factories, whatever you want to call them. She's like, if my family didn't build these garment factories in these poor locations, these people would not have any jobs at all. They'd resort towards, sex trafficking, drugs, other nefarious bad things. So her mentality about it all was, my family's helping the community. Whereas, like, most of the Western mentality would be like, these are sweatshops, these are terrible. So I thought it would be a cool song idea to have like 3 rappers do a verse from like each viewpoint, like one viewpoint from like a Westerner that's like, this shit's bullshit, it's bad. And then the other verse would be another viewpoint from the garment factory owner who thinks that, they're an angel, they're helping the community. And then the third verse would be another rapper from the actual workers' viewpoint. So yeah, sometimes I come up with these weird song concepts that sometimes work out, sometimes don't.
Yeah, because I guess when you look at it like, shit, are they getting underpaid? Because if the country, like you said, the cost of living is lower, that means the pay is going to be lower.
Yeah, like the average salary, last time I looked it up in Thailand at least, was anywhere from 8,000 to 17,000 baht, which is like 220 to like $700. That's the average salary. And like next door to us in Cambodia, the cops there, I think they get paid like $80 a month and a bag of rice.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shit. Man, we're going to have to do a part 2 though, man. I'm about to get with you again and follow up.
Yeah, dude, anytime. Can do.
All right, man. So what would you like to say to your fans and supporters?
Yeah. It'd be great if y'all could, check out the album. It drops on the 26th. You can go to my Bandcamp and find that, or my website, djcriminal.com, and then smugglerscandle.com if they're interested in getting some physical merch, which would be cool. And yeah, I hope they like that. I hope they dig the album. There's some pretty interesting songs on there. There's a bunch of little Easter eggs dropped throughout the album. So I'd be curious to see how many of the listeners and fans out there can figure out any of those. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you too. I just want to ask you about some of your adventures traveling, but we'll save that for the next interview. We got to get a part 2.
Cool. It's right on, man.
All right. So What's your social media and everything?
Social media, Instagram is just at DJ Criminal. Twitter is at DJ Criminal 612. Facebook is at DJ Criminal Online. And that's really the only socials I rock with. My book, you can get my book at Monsoon Publishing. Or if you're in Asia, all the airports got my book in their bookstores. And you can get it on Amazon as well. It's called Saudi Arabia Undercover. And then website's djcriminal.com. And that's about the only plugs I got.
All right, bro.
And then for the physical bundles, it's smugglerscandle.com.
All right, bro. I want to say thanks for coming through politicking with me.
Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man.